they are among us out in society. Unfortunately, I was raised by a narcissistic mother and enabling henchman father. And then I, like most children of narcissists do, I gravitated to a narcissist later in life. Unfortunately, I was engaged to that piece of garbage. Thankfully, my husband and I reunited after I was discarded by that creep. But toxic bullies are so severely disordered themselves that I speak about this often with, when people question me in terms of, I'm like the expert on narcissists over here. But when people talk to me about I say, it's one thing to have issues. We're all dealing with something. No one is perfect. But when it comes to narcissists, the problem that I have, the bone that I have to pick, is that these people fail to acknowledge their issues. They instead project their anger out onto everyone around them. And it's like they're trying to make everyone else pay for their misery and their resentment. And I've witnessed it as an outsider, as an insider, and it's hard. It's heartbreaking. And what they do is they tear you down psychologically, very insidiously, covert, and they turn you against yourself. They make you question yourself. For example, I have one of my dearest friends is in the process of separating from a narcissist that she was unfortunately married to, and she's finally coming out from under it. Thankfully she has me there to infuriate her along the way, to pour gasoline on her internal fire that's burning, fury against this creep. But she just finally said something that like really choked me up this weekend. She was like, there's not a damn thing wrong with me. And I'm like, absolutely not. And that's why narcissists target their victims, because they actually want to emulate their victims. Narcissists go after people that they want to essentially they want something from you. They want to take your greatness, your goodness, your good heart, your self-confidence, your assertiveness, all of those things they want for themselves, but they know that they have this severe inferiority, inadequacy complex. So they're so twisted, they feel like, if I take this person out, it somehow builds them up. It's a great quote that
Let me ask you this. I'm picking, as you know, phrases that I have seen on your Instagram page and so forth. I'm going to put something up because you're going in a direction that leads to this. I'm going to ask you about something that I saw on your page, fishing for supply, because you're mentioning about, as it were, taking someone out, projecting onto that person, taking their good qualities, as it were. What does this mean for someone who's never heard of this phrase, fishing for supply? Shed some light on that for someone.
I actually have a graphic that goes with this. Someone's literally fishing. And my husband has a great, and he comes up with these great analogies sometimes. He's like, narcissists are like sharks. They can never be in one place for more than like a second. They're always on the prowl. They're always seeking out some type of external validation, some type of external supply, because they are so devoid within themselves They need everything is external. They are absolutely addicted to drama. That's why a lot of us victims want nothing to do with drama after, as we're going through the process of healing, hopefully on the, farther end of it, like as we're further along. I don't want anything to do with drama. And I know so many people that feel the same. So narcissists will extract supply from good or bad acknowledgement. They just seek reactions from people. I have another graphic about a post. They'll constantly like poke at you to strike a nerve. They want to incite some type of reaction, and that's how they validate themselves. It's so sick and twisted. It's very difficult for us to understand because it's so far removed from, our personal values and, characteristics. But narcissists actually, like, they feel powerful when they're able to have an impact on someone else. It's typically in a bad way.
Then I want to put this up because this is something that I saw on your page. Describe for others then, when you say dysfunction, give an idea for that for someone who is, well, they may be living in it and not even know they're dealing with dysfunction. They may have been raised in it in the family and they think it's normal. What does dysfunction look like, smell like, taste like? What does it mean?
Something is off. I say that, like, there's so many. I have my graduate degree in psychology as well as my undergraduate degree, and I'm fairly certain that the reason why I gravitated to this space is because something was always off in my home. And a lot of people report the same thing. It's like, but it's so covert. It's so like flies under the radar, as well as the fact that it's all you know as a child. As a child, you don't have the luxury of comparing your dysfunction, toxicity that you're living in to a healthy home. So that's normalized by the narcissist, by the dysfunction that you're living in. When you have a parent that is a narcissist, they are taking everyone in the family unit down. No one goes unscathed. Everyone is impacted, whether it be the golden child, the black sheep, the lost child, the enabling spouse, everyone ends up being codependent because the world revolves around the narcissist. So dysfunction is a failure to acknowledge and address, everyday issues it all starts with the narcissist failing to acknowledge their unresolved issues. But every family has, hiccups or bumps in the road, but narcissists just brush everything under the rug and act like, oh, we're perfect. Everything's perfect. So everybody's happy here. Nobody can talk about any communication is absolutely non-existent. It is completely discouraged.
So if someone is living in that type of a lifestyle, communication is always either strained, non-existent. It's just, you can't communicate freely. People just seem to be not open to any agreement. It seems to be no measure of pursuing peace at all. Then they can be so affected, and I want to get to this, so I want to jump to it early. We're going to jump to this early. They can be so affected. Well, this is something you also talk about, CPTSD.
I'm just going to jump right into this book here.
Yeah, and I want the viewers to know this, what they're about to hear and what they're going to we're going to be discussing and you're going to be highlighting is from Pete Walker, if I got that right. Am I doing that correctly? We'll make sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So Pete Walker,
it's like the Bible
that you have. It's a book you have in front of you there. and it discusses CPTSD. Go ahead. Feel free to talk about that with the viewers.
It's awesome. Like in chapter 1, right from the jump, he says CPTSD is a learned set of responses and a failure to complete numerous important developmental tasks. It's environmentally, not genetically caused. It is learned. It's not inscribed in your DNA. It is a disorder caused by nurture, or rather lack thereof, not nature. CPTSD is a more severe form of post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is what children of narcissistic parents, I always put parents in quotes because these people really don't deserve that honor of being acknowledged as parents. But CPTSD is delineated from a better known trauma syndrome, and 5 of the more prominent features of it are emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, self-abandonment, a vicious inner critic, and social anxiety. So it's like everyone knows that, or not everyone, but generally the idea behind PTSD, everyone typically would associate it with soldiers that have gone to war or people that have suffered some type of physical traumatic experience, an accident, war, again, things of that nature. It was typically associated with soldiers historically, but Pete Walker put the complex with it because as children of narcissists, as I was saying, it's like they instill this terrible toxic programming within you. It's just psychologically devastating. It's emotional, mental abuse. It's where, like, the most formative years of our lives are early childhood. So up to the age of 7, we're just sponges. We're just absorbing everything around us. We're in that theta brainwave state. So everything that we are told, everything that we are surrounded by that is normalized, that's what stays with us. And this is a time that should be, we should be establishing healthy dynamics, healthy relationship patterns, healthy beliefs about ourselves. Parents should be reinforcing and instilling confidence in their children. And instead, they are completely sabotaging us.
If you could, I do want to take a look at a posting that you made. I'm glad you brought out that information there from Pete Walker. His book is focusing on CPTSD. I was going to ask you, could you hold it up for everybody real slowly and hold it right there? That's perfect. And so for some of you who wanted to take a look at this book, this is, of course, the cover of it. Feel free to take a look at it and do your research. And so you can, no, it's perfect where you had it. That was beautiful. That was good. But I do want to talk about, I want to move to this right now. It's a posting that you had. Toxic cycle. Actually, it's a really cool posting. So let's see here how I'm going to do it here. Let's do it this way. Let's bring it in like that. And let me go ahead. We're going to talk about the toxic cycle. This is one of your current posting, I think. Pretty much.
Literally this morning I put it up.
Yeah, okay. I got too many things in my small little brain. I forgot that quick. Okay, so Bumped, Bruised, and Blessed, of course, is your Instagram page, your YouTube channel as well. I encourage everyone, by all means, to support Michelle at Bumped, Bruised, and Blessed. And please make it a point, as best as you can, to like, share, and subscribe to all of her social media platforms, so that she can continue to help others. Just because maybe you may know this information. Keeping her out there helps those who are just beginning their journey. Narcissistic parents, your posting says, implant a toxic cycle in their children. This is what you were just discussing. I want to get to the cycle. So in the cycle, you talk about toxic beliefs. Give someone an idea of what that means. I know many of you hear me say this over and over in our live shows. The majority of people that watch our shows and that correspond back to us are people that are just beginning their journey. So they learn a lot from the shows. Explain toxic beliefs or some examples thereof.
Yeah, this is what hurts my heart. This is why I do this stuff, because children are what they believe they are, what you tell them they are. I have a post about that as well. As I mentioned, up to the age of 7, we are in a theta brainwave state. So what that means is that we're just absorbing everything. We don't have any autonomous thoughts yet. So when you have a narcissistic parent, they're constantly putting you down. They're constantly making you feel like you are some type of burden, because that vilifies you and victimizes them. And that is the tried and true narcissistic narrative. By them always being the victim, they always get the attention. They always put other people down, and they even do it with their own children. It's deplorable. So they make you feel like you're a burden, you're a bad kid, there's something wrong with you. Like, I've heard people even say that their narcissistic parent will complain and say, oh, you were the worst baby, or you wouldn't stop crying. Like we had no control over how we were as babies, as infants, but they just set the stage to constantly be condescending, to elevate themselves. So that's the part of toxic beliefs, is that they're always making us feel there's something wrong with us, because they are not strong enough to look in the mirror and to identify their own unresolved issues. So they project, it's something wrong with you, it's not me.
Now, we've touched on toxic beliefs. Shed light for us, my friend. Trauma response. I am so interested to hear what you're going to say. Trauma
oh my
response.
God, I tabbed something off in this book because I don't want to forget anything.
Okay.
Typical trauma responses are fight or flight, like we know that's our sympathetic nervous system is designed to respond to imminent threats by fight or flight. You're either gonna, stay and take on this threat, or you're gonna beat feet and run, right? But there's also fawn or freeze. So there's 4 of them. Pete Walker goes into detail in this book: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And there's different variations. He says variances in your childhood abuse, neglect patterns, birth order, and genetics result in gravitating towards a specific survival strategy. So like fight would be he's talking about healthy ones. I don't want to talk about that. Fight would be like a narcissist fighting everyone. Narcissists are very combative. Everyone is their enemy in life as they perceive it. They're explosive, they're controlling. That's a hallmark characteristic of a narcissist. They're entitled, they're type A, they're a bully, they're autocratic, sociopathic, conduct disorders. So that's the fight manifestation.
I have a question. I have a question for you before you go on.
Go ahead.
My question to you is, what was your trauma response?
I am a people pleaser.
Man, I almost read your mind there. I wanted to say it so bad.
I'm
Uh,
a fawn, like in the
okay,
worst degree.
really,
You know, I was always
really.
trying to be the peacekeeper. You know, I know a lot of people, similar, like my girlfriend, same thing. You know, you're always trying to like de-escalate the situation. You're trying to keep the narcissist happy so that things just flow smoothly as possible. So a lot of people manifest into that people pleasers later in life because we're forced into codependency, you know, by being the fawn. That's our trauma response. And therefore, you kind of avoid all confrontation like the
Did it work for
plague.
you? Did it work for you living like that?
No, I'm in a wheelchair, man. Did not work out for me.
Oh man, you're funny.
Suppressing any of you
You're funny.
gotta feel
Yeah.
it to heal it. That's one of my YouTube videos, but you have to feel it to heal it. You have to process all of these things, acknowledge, identify, go through these things, you know, instead of suppressing it, because that's what I was taught to, that's what we were all taught to do, really, by narcissistic parents, because you weren't entitled to your own feelings, because that is detracting from the narcissist. And they're always, you know, the main star of the show. So you
Yeah.
can't feel anything. You can't be angry. You can't be sad because that takes away from their attention.
Okay, now we've talked about toxic beliefs and trauma response. Tell me how the self-sabotage part of this toxic cycle, how does it come into play when it comes to self-sabotage? How does it
It's
tie
kind of like
into the first two?
a self-fulfilling prophecy
Mm.
because you have this foundational belief that you're bad, that you're going to screw up, everything you do is wrong, and you can't do anything right. So by kind of defaulting to our trauma responses, whatever it is, you're going to shy away from your strengths, your individuality, really the things that led the narcissist to target us to begin with, our endearing qualities like having a good heart and being kind and compassionate. Like these are the things that we were taught to um not to acknowledge, really, or to even let come through. So we end up self-sabotaging ourselves even when the narcissist is not in the picture, because they set the foundation in our minds to fail. They were trying to intentionally sabotage us from the jump, but
Okay,
at
so
some point they remove themselves from the equation. We sabotage ourselves without them.
okay, I want to lean into that last part you just said that we can start to self-sabotage ourselves. You said so if we have good qualities and we're around toxic people and we've leaned into the toxic beliefs and we're going through this toxic cycle, are you saying then that we're in a situation where we will start to play ourselves down, even our strengths? We will ignore the accomplishments we have just so that we can keep the peace. Almost, we're almost making ourselves invisible.
1,000%. I love that you said that, Paxton,
Hmm.
because
Wow.
you know, I have t-shirts about this actually. It's like I will not, like, part of healing is realizing that you will not shrink yourself anymore
Hmm.
to accommodate their insecurity. And
Okay, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Time out. Time out. As I often do on my shows, you got to repeat that. That was very good, my friend. We will not. Did you say shrink yourself? How did you say that? Say that, please.
I have it as a post on my Instagram. I also made a t-shirt out of it. I like it so much. On my spring site, it's all it's I will not shrink myself to accommodate your insecurities.
Love it. Love it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, that was self-sabotage. You were going to say something else before we move on to the last one. Go ahead.
just that narciss this gets me bad. Marginalization and trivialization, because that was used against me, I think, more than anything in life, like downplaying my accomplishments. And I mean, shoot, it was done to me recently by a peripheral narcissist, which I have referred to in YouTube videos as well. But it's like, I had a lot of things to be proud of as a young person. I still do. My family is amazing. But like, even for example, I was talking about this with Joe the other night, my husband. Like, they downplay everything that you do because somehow it threatens them, narcissists. So they will downplay everything that you do in order to elevate themselves. This quote that I was going to say before, it's one of my favorites. It's by Paramahansa Yogananda. Small people cut off the heads of others to make themselves taller.
Wow. Oh,
Narcissist,
wow.
man.
Wow.
But
Okay.
they will constantly like just trivialize, marginalize, like just shrink your accomplishments because they can't acknowledge them because it's something that they did not do. For example, when I got my master's degree, like the golden boy in my family, she was always trying to put him on some type of a pedestal and, push me down in the process. And I had like an educational scholarship to school. I was playing sports. I was living my best life, doing amazing things in spite of all of their toxic efforts. But the narcissist would always be like, "Oh, your brother, he's so smart and this, that, and the other thing." Like, meanwhile, back at the ranch, there's me that was diagnosed with MS. I was working like 3 jobs at once, supporting myself, living on with my friend off campus, but I was supporting myself, diagnosed with MS, and completing my master's degree. And nobody acknowledged it. And I remember when I graduated, I actually said to them, like, "Are you going to have a party or something?" Because, somebody sneezed and they were always looking for an excuse to have a party because they were so bougie and they were always looking to flex, try to act like they're so happy and that whole facade, maintain that facade. And I remember the narc mother was like, "I guess, yeah." And I was like, wow, okay.
You have survived a number of different aspects of life, but I couldn't see, as I reviewed this, I couldn't imagine in my mind's eye you opting to just isolate yourself. But yet here's the word isolation as a part of this toxic cycle in this posting that you made, as you mentioned, what, today, this posting, narcissistic parents implant a toxic cycle in their children. We discussed toxic beliefs. We discussed trauma response. We discussed
Self-sabotage.
self-sabotage. Now, I've had isolation there up on the screen. Describe how this is a part of this toxic cycle.
First and foremost, narcissists will always, I'm like getting lucky, did again. Narcissists will always isolate
I
you.
got you. Hey, I got you covered. I know how to just come in and put some water on it for a little bit, and I take
So
over. And I'll
loud,
let you
man.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go on,
So
get to it. Go on, get to it, Michelle. Go on. Release the hounds. Okay, go ahead.
it's me over here with, I'm very passionate about this.
Go ahead. I was just go
So
ahead.
narcissists will always isolate you so that they can target you uncontested. Like, I've made references to this. We don't have friends growing up because you get close to somebody and there comes the narcissist, like trying to plant things in your head. Like, you value your parents' opinions and you're constantly, as I referenced in this post, you're constantly, it's just human nature. It's an inherent motivator that we have to seek our parents' approval. And we don't know when we're kids that there is no acknowledgement from these people. They will never approve of us in any way because they're so feeble that they believe that that somehow lessens themselves. It's so twisted, and as a mother, it's beyond comprehension. But they will deliberately isolate you to begin with so that they can target you and that you don't have anyone standing up for you. Because now I'm blessed with my husband, who's obviously on my team and supports me in all that I do in my healing. And he's, my biggest cheerleader. And they don't want you to have any type of meaningful relationships. So narcissists isolate you. So then in turn, later in life, we repeat this by isolating ourselves. A trauma response to having a narcissistic parent is extreme autonomy, extreme independence. It's not healthy. It's like, I'll do it myself. Joe and I talk about this all the time. It's like, you don't want to depend on anyone because you've been taught not to, that we cannot depend on people.
You didn't have a team. You didn't have a
Exactly.
team. You didn't, which that's what a family is. A family is supposed to be a team, but a healthy, productive, efficient team. And so
1000%.
the dynamics you're describing is living in a toxic cycle, as it were. You're living in where the belief system is not correct. The way we respond is not correct. We have a tendency to lean in towards sabotaging instead of building up and, as it were, appreciating the good things that we do. Those things are not applauded, which means a person is not going to be social or social in a healthy way. They're going to find when they have troubles, they feel better off isolating themselves instead of seeking help or seeking support. It's an amazing post that you have. There's so much in there that can be dissected. I hope everyone will get a chance to take a look at it. I need to do this. Let me get this out of the way here. And I need to move this. Okay. I have something for you. We are nearing the end of the show. And I have something for you I've been waiting to do with you. Well, here we go. You're going to get tortured now, so you're just going to have to take it. Okay, so here we go. Again, just as a reminder to everybody, this is the posting. You can go take a look at Bumped, Bruised, and Blessed. Feel free to take a look at it, her Instagram page. Again, like we always say here at Narc Abuse TV Network, pull out what works for you, and that will help you in your journey of recovery. Recovery is way more important than revenge or resentment. You'll work things out better, focusing on the recovery part. Michelle, I am always happy to have you here. Michelle's good. Go ahead, lay into something before I put something else up. Go ahead.
Let me get this out. I have to. I was just saying to my beautiful friend that's going through it right now with the aftermath of the narc, and my husband and I say, karma is a beautiful bitch. Excuse the language.
I got a family show here.
It's not a bad word. It's a female dog.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
But karma, it just takes out the trash, man. Narcissists are their own worst punishments in life. There's nothing that we need to do, man. It's just they live their own misery. They reap what they sow. Sorry, go ahead.
So a person now who finds themselves in a toxic situation, they will have some tools to keep in mind. But here we go. This is kind of like game time. This is a game that I actually have, and I've been waiting to. I've already used it a couple of times, but I don't believe that I've used it with you. And if I did, it's because I'm senile. So here we go.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna put something up, and I want you to take a look at it, and I want you to choose one or two different points out of it, and I want you to just have at it. Just Pick something that you see that you like and want to talk about. Here we go. Toxic family members. It lists 5 different aspects that come into play. Look at them if you could, please, my friend. And whichever one you want to pick and talk about to shed some light on this, feel free to do so.
Man, I could go at any of
I
these.
know. I see. Don't do this to me. I can't be
Stacey,
here all
no.
day. This is free TV. I can't be here all day. I have to go get my tan today. So
Fair
listen.
enough.
No, just joking. So pick one. Pick one or two that you want to talk about to give some encouragement to those who are dealing with toxic family situations.
Um, all right. I'll speak to this is gonna cover a lot of it, but when you leave the toxic dynamic, when you break the cycle, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to feel worse initially than the incredible payoff at the end when we live our best lives. But they'll smear the heck out of you while you're doing it.
Wow.
They have to do that because that's how they maintain their narrative. They will throw the book at you, they will point the finger at you, they'll say you're the narcissist. You know, they will duck and dodge any and all accountability because, again, this is what the whole narcissistic personality is constructed from. It is just an elaborate defense mechanism where these people are running from their issues. They're running from confronting or healing themselves. So they gotta dump it on you. I mean, they need to smear you out because you're the villain. They're the victim. That's the narrative. So, and unfortunately, I've heard this so frequently. It's so sad, man. They're all the same. They all do the same thing, but that's good for us because that's how we're able to identify them. We see them for what they are, and we all help each other along the way. But a common theme that I have heard is that, you know, so you might have a narcissistic parent, but then it turns out that the whole extended family is toxic as well. And you kind of just have to walk away from the whole thing. And yeah, that's how it is. And
that can be pretty hard though, huh? I
it's
mean, I'm just
heavy.
right now. I
And
just popped into my head. What if some young girl met a guy, and then now she finds out this is a chain of toxicity? But you're saying you're better off just walking away from it and letting it be.
yeah, because it's like odds are if you're dealing with a narcissistic parent and everyone else kind of turns a blind eye to it, like a fence sitter type person, it's like, you know, silence is it's just like abuse by proxy. If you don't have people advocating for you and just letting this go on, it's
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with them? And it's like they're either cohorts, enablers, codependents, or narcissists themselves. It's like nobody wants to break the cycle, but that's why we are here because we're breaking the cycle. We're educating ourselves, we're extracting ourselves from the dysfunction. And yes, like 99% of the time, everyone is dysfunctional and it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. So it feels overwhelming initially, but it's worth it a million times over.
And that feeling of being overwhelmed because you know a person is raised in it, they're accustomed to it. They may feel they're in love with this person, but the whole line is toxic. You're saying in the long run, it's better to have peace. It's better to have the peace than the dysfunction. It's better to pursue peace than to just live in dysfunction.
Yeah, man, like I'm the black sheep, so I know a lot of us delving into this arena are black sheep, which is awesome. We are the truth tellers, we are the justice seekers, we are the cycle breakers. I mean, God bless like the golden children out there that have gone this route as well, but it's like I say this, I could not fit in with those people if I tried, and I don't want to. We seek out like genuine and authentic connections. That's who we are. We're not them. We couldn't be them if we wanted to. They like skate on the surface, man. They're like as deep as puddles. They have nothing substantial there. So
That's a
that's
good
not
one.
us.
That's a good one. Deepest puddles. I kind of like that. I kind of
Yeah.
like that. I like that. Deepest puddles. Okay, now we are near the end of the show, but I have a video